G'day and welcome to episode 220 of Trent365. Today's Monday, the 9th of July. Just heading out to the Maldives, packed and ready to go. But before I do, I just wanted to say something quickly about the idea of the ER for mental illness. And what I mean by ER is the emergency room. Because I just read something interesting on Twitter, which was essentially an open letter to the ER from a mental illness sufferer. And the message was basically, you know, we're patients too. We have emergency cases too. And it's obviously in response to going into an emergency room and not being treated as a serious or an urgent case. And, you know, we all know what it's like. You go into an emergency room, you know, you think you're in a pretty bad way. You look around, you see people that look in a lot more pain than you are. And, you know, frankly, if you're not deemed to be an urgent case, then you're going to have to wait, right? Unless you've got blood pouring out of you, we're not really going to focus on you yet. We're focusing on the guy that's about to die. And that's reality, but you can imagine how that would then translate to someone with a mental condition. They go in there with a real need for help, and yet there's nothing wrong with them to the outside world. There's nothing physically wrong with them. So the ER is not maybe the place for them to get treatment, but it's the only place to go. And, you know, I've spoken before on this show about how mental awareness and the awareness of mental conditions, mental health in general, mental wellness in general, is going to become a big focus in the future. And this sort of is a nice example, I think, of where there's an opportunity. There's an opportunity either to create an alternative to an ER situation, whereby someone with a mental health condition has somewhere to go for help, for emergency help and treatments. Or alternatively, maybe there's a way that we can have some kind of diagnostic tools that are going to enable a medical professional to be able to make an adequate assessment of that person's mental condition. Now, I've got no idea about how all this works really on the back end, so I'm not sure if that's even viable at this point. But if you could have a diagnostic tool that would work in an ER environment so that everyone comes to the ER, they get there, they have this scan of their mental awareness, their mental faculties, and then they're able to categorize them and be able to suggest the right treatment for them accordingly. So I think it's one or the other is where the opportunity is, either a new location for someone with a mental illness to go to for an emergency situation, or some kind of diagnostic tools maybe. The other way to think about this, of course, is how many people in those emergency rooms with those real emergencies, you know, blood pouring out of their body, how many of those situations have actually come about as a result of somebody suffering from mental illness? Don't know the numbers, but I'm sure there'd be a fair amount of them. Anyway, I just thought I would throw that out there as a topic for discussion before I jump on a plane. Thanks for taking the time to listen. I'll be back again tomorrow. See ya. From the Maldives, in fact. Bye now.